Hi everybody, Morgana Galaxia here. Welcome back to my channel. So glad that you're with me today. So, I'm getting on to do some more Ukraine, some more Russia, and let's throw in a little bit of China. So, it's all that's going on right now for good reason. Super serious issue, especially now that Putin has thrown out the nuclear words, right? Getting all his nuclear systems sort of geared up and ready to go. So yeah, it's getting real edgy. Anyways, so I'm getting on because, we've got some more things that we can be looking at that I want to be asking about. And I'm going to throw a couple versus spreads today. And my first one is going to be Putin versus China. So, lots of people are just kind of wondering how China's feeling about this, how they're going to be reacting to this. Are they looking at Taiwan, kind of seeing how things go, what the international community will put up with, and so forth. But another thing is, Putin and, I should say, Russia and China are allies, right? They get along, they support each other. But, China has their hugest trade relations are with the United States. So if they decide to, give the U.S. the finger and side with Putin, and we want to start meddling with our trading agreement with China, they can be in some big trouble. So they might find it more financially advantageous to them to stick with the U.S. and maybe not side with Putin, especially considering the aggressive nature of his action right now, right? However, the other side of that is if Putin can do this to Ukraine and kind of get away with it, then they might be giving that side eye to Taiwan to see if they want to try the same thing. So in that event, they'd probably want Putin to succeed. So, I don't really know how the Chinese peoples really feel about that. I mean, in some of these countries, you just can't protest. You can't speak your mind. You'll get beat up and thrown in jail. Or the other way around, right? Thrown in jail and beat up. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a mystery. So that's why I want to take a look at Russia versus China. So really, I'm going to get into Putin and then the Chinese president, Xi Jinping. So that's going to be my first versus spread with these two. And one more. Putin versus Xi Jinping. Putin versus Xi Jinping. Let's see how these two are thinking about each other here. Putin and Xi Jinping. Okay. Let's see what we've got. Putin's here on this side, and then Xi Jinping will be here on this side. Okay. And then, as usual, put a card in the middle for him. All right. Card in the middle. Okay, one second. Okie dokie. So we're going to start out over here with Putin, okay? What is in Putin's head? We've got the Four of Cups. So Putin's got some options in front of him that he doesn't really care for, okay? So he is trying to go about his business, and people are trying to distract him off what he's doing with this offer, with that offer, with this offer, with that offer. He's not interested. None of the offers that are being put before him are satisfactory to him. He doesn't want to bite, okay? He's not going to be distracted by him reading this book, sort of doing what he's doing. He's just got some bad options that are being thrown at him, and it doesn't seem like he wants to take them. So that is kind of where Putin is at right now. What would those options be? Oh, dang it, my cat, hold on. So some of those options would be, withdrawal, surrender, just take the two, disputed border regions, or, hammer out a deal, come back to the negotiating table, just back the F off, right? Whatever it is that NATO is telling Russia, hey, if you just stop this. There's also the other ones, right? Does he capitulate to the sanctions? Does he capitulate to NATO peer pressure? I mean, so there's options there, but he don't like any of those, and he's not about to stop what he's doing to take a look at those kind of choices. So how does Putin see China or Xi Jinping? Ooh, we have the Nine of Swords. So you look at the red specter up above. So there's some stress and anxiety there regarding China. So China's been kind of taking a, I don't want to say hands-off approach, but they're being quiet. They haven't really made a statement yet. They're not really coming down hard one way or the other. They're still trying to hedge their bets. But Putin is worried. He definitely is dealing with some high anxiety because whatever China does is going to impact him huge. Okay, so he's not confident that China's got his back. He's not confident that, that partner's going to be there to fight NATO with him or do whatever. He is not confident. There is high anxiety there when he's considering how China's going to react to this move. Because I don't know that he told Xi Jinping what he was going to be doing. It doesn't sound like doesn't seem like he did. Nobody, even in his inner circle, knew this was happening. So he might have had some assumptions. China was just going to jump on the bandwagon. I don't know what he was thinking. But whatever it is right now, he's highly anxious, sleepless nights, worried about China's reaction, worried about the decision China's going to make, what they're going to do, okay? So what is in Putin's heart? We have the Eight of Pentacles. So number one, money, okay? It's always money, 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 money. But this is some high productivity, right? Volume, some mastery, some skills there. So for China, what's in his heart, I think that he wants to obviously continue to make money. I mean, massive amounts of money. And I think this must be part of the reason he went into Ukraine. They've got a lot of resources. They do a lot of work. They're a developed nation. So if he brings them into the fold, he would get all that productivity from Ukraine. Also, this could be, his big plans. Start with Ukraine, go into, Romania, Yugoslavia, Poland, whatever other nations used to be part of the Soviet Union. He might want to be bringing them all back, right? He might have big plans to hit one after the other after the other. So, this is something that he's working on. There's a lot of productivity, a lot of work going into this, a lot of money being invested in this. So this would indicate that he's got more plans beyond Ukraine. Also just a massive amount of money this is costing him, the skill that it's taking, and, the weapons. There definitely is a nod towards a massive the weapons buildup that's required for something like this. So that's kind of what's in his heart, is just, how am I going to make this work? How am I going to get my resources in order? How much is this going to cost me? What kind of income streams is Ukraine going to give me? Where can I go next, right? How can I continue to produce what I'm producing? So I feel like, it's expansionist, right? He has more than one goal, more than one piece of work to do. There is lots of things that he wants to accomplish here. For his action, we're dropping down now to the Three of Pentacles. So this is, these cats, one sec. Anyway, these cats. Okay, anyway, so Three of Pentacles. This is the action. So this is telling me that what's in his heart of hearts, what he wants to accomplish here, he's going to be doing a lot less, okay? We're going from an 8 to a 3 of Pentacles. So there is some accomplishment here, but it's much more limited. It's much less than what he's hoping for and what he's working for. In addition, this card would remind Putin you can't do it by yourself. You have to do it as part of a team. There's cooperation of others that's needed to get this job done. You need to get cooperation. And even with that cooperation, he's only going to be able to accomplish a portion of what he, in his heart, really wants to do here. So it's telling him, you're not going to get everything you want, and you're not going to get it by yourself. You need to start working with others if you want to accomplish anything here. Okay, so moving on to China. What is in Xi Jinping's head? We have the Two of Wands, okay? Two of Wands. So China understands they do have a choice. Just like Putin's got a lot of choices he don't like in front of him, China also has a choice to make here. Very simple. Do we support Russia? Do we support NATO? You know, are we going to condone, or are we going to condemn? You know, we're going to sit silent, or are we going to take some action? So they are weighing right now what path they want to take. Okay, so that does seem that it might be undecided. They're still thinking about it. Pros and cons, pros and cons. So how is Xi Jinping seeing Putin right now? And we have the Seven of Wands. So he's looking at Putin, seeing that he's got his back up against the wall. Okay, he's in self-defense mode. Yeah, Putin's carrying a big stick, and he wanted to block Ukraine's entry into, you know, NATO or the European Union. You know, he wants to kind of be the gatekeeper and, you know, keep the nations within, you know, a recreated Soviet Union, I guess. So there's this blocking element here. He's carrying a big stick. He's standing his ground, but they're coming after him. His back's to the wall. He's in self-defensive posture. So this is how China or Xi Jinping is looking at Putin right now. It's like, you tried, and now, you know, you're going to have to fight it out. You're going to have to defend yourself. You're going to have to, you know, fight to maintain your current position, because these people want to go straight through you. So Putin is vulnerable. Putin is in a position, he's in a self-defensive position right here. Okay, so what is in Xi Jinping's heart? We have the Five of Cups. So this is loss. So what's in his heart is some sort of element of loss. So clearly, you know, it's very easy to imagine he's looking at the death and destruction going on in Ukraine and understanding that that's a huge loss of life, loss of infrastructure, you know, huge loss for Europe, for humanity, etc. I think they can see that this is a tragedy that's unfolding there. And yeah, they're feeling it in their heart of hearts. They see this as a loss, as a loss. As far as action, Page of Wands here. So this is telling me that, yes, they are still thinking about how they want to move forward, but they will make a decision. This page is the start of action. So they are going to take some tentative steps forward in whatever way they choose here. Okay, so they will make a decision. They will take some action regarding this. And so we come to the central card I put in the middle here to sort of summarize their relationship. Ooh, the Death card. So death, yes, death, but it's also transformation. So however this relationship between Putin and Xi Jinping plays out, it's going to be transformative. It will change. It's not going to stay the same. It will be different going forward, than it was in the past. There is a death element here because death leads to transformation. So this isn't some fabulous change, like say the World card, right? Oh, you know, it's ending and a new beginning. Yeah, this is a harsh ending to a complete new reality and a new beginning here. So I think their relationship is really destined to undergo some struggles, some strife, and some transformation. Things are not going to be the same between those two nations anymore. Okay, so that was Putin and China. I'd also like to do another versus spread here. I want to take a look at Putin and NATO. So, oh my God, we know Putin hates NATO. I mean, that is the reason, right, for this invasion. He just doesn't want to see these former Soviet nations moving into Europe's sphere of influence, into the United Nations, into NATO, into just all of it, right? He wants to keep them as close to Russia as possible, and he's willing to do that by force here. So things are getting desperate. Things are getting desperate. Putin is throwing out nuclear war, right? Getting his nuclear arsenal on heightened alert. Biden, very wisely, is not doing the same to antagonize. You know, once you start ratcheting up, there's nowhere to go but up. You know, he can sort of cut Putin off at the knees by not responding in that aggressive way to do the same thing. Obviously, it wouldn't take very long if we really needed to get our nuclear arsenal up, but it's a no-win game, you know? Mutually assured destruction. Nobody can win that war. So apparently the only difference is, you know, for Putin, if he can't have what he wants, you know, the whole thing, he'll just bomb the whole thing. Whereas obviously on our side, we want everyone to live peacefully. Okay, so Putin versus NATO. I want to take a look at how he's seeing NATO, how NATO is seeing Putin. I'd really, let's see how these two entities being, you know, NATO's a group, obviously, but let's see what the dynamics are there. All right, come on, kids. Let's do one more. Okay, Putin versus NATO. Putin, oh, interesting. Interesting. And NATO. All right. One card in the middle. Whew. Dang. Okay. So we're starting off with Putin, and I'll just plop these two cards up, even though I shuffled. Same old thing. Same thing. What's in Putin's head? Choices he don't like. All right. NATO's given him some options. He don't like any of them. He doesn't want to be thrown off his game. He doesn't want to pick up what they're putting down. All right. So what's in his head? He's thinking about his options. What are his choices? What's the least, you know, the least bad choice, you know, that kind of thing. And again, how is he seeing NATO? 9 of Swords. He is highly stressed out. He's feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, causing him sleepless nights. This could be making him a little erratic, not thinking straight when you can't sleep well. When you have that kind of level of fear and anxiety, it really, you know, strains your thinking and your logic and so forth. So I think that obviously, you know, people are talking about his mental health. And he obviously is not in a good mental health space if he is starting this war. But it could only be getting worse. You know, it's not rolling out the way he thought it would be. It wasn't a slam dunk like he thought it would be. NATO is organizing against him, probably stronger than he ever thought they would. And it's really causing him high levels of anxiety here. What's in his heart? The death of NATO. He doesn't want NATO to exist. He wants that to be transformed, probably into another Soviet bloc with individual European states, right? He wants the death of NATO. And what is his action going to be here? Ooh, so 8 of Wands. So this is about quick movement. This is a time card, right? It's happening fast. And so, yeah, here's the bombs flying into Ukraine, right? I mean, he's lobbing shells, lobbing bombs, blowing the place up. And it's only been 5 or 6 days. This is happening really, really fast. The onslaught happened fast. The rollout of this is happening fast. And he's got his weapons in the air right there. So he will be continuing the attack, obviously. Now, for NATO. What is in NATO's head? Interesting, we have the 5 of Pentacles. So the 5 of Pentacles, yeah, I mean, that's about, what are they saying there? Making Russia a pariah, right? That's the card of the pariah. You're an outcast. You've been banned. You've been expelled from the group, from the larger community. So obviously Russia's not a part of NATO, but he is a part of the UN, right? United Nations. So I have a feeling that these people might be thinking, how can we continue to ostracize him, continue to ban him, continue to make him a pariah? We can't kick him out of NATO, but maybe they can kick him out of the UN. Maybe they can kick him off some of these councils. They want to banish Putin, banish Russia. That's what they're going to expel him from, whatever communities that they can expel him from. So it's a punishment. And make no mistake, a big part of this is money. So these are the sanctions too. Keep him poor, make him poor, kick him out of, the financial sector, right? These are the sanctions. Kick him out of the banks, kick him out of SWIFT, bring him to his knees. He's going to be struggling for money. He's going to be banned. He's going to be a pariah. That is what NATO is thinking right now. How do they see Putin? When they look at him, what are they seeing right here? 3 of Swords. So they're seeing the tragedy that's unfolding. They're seeing the irrationality of his behavior. They're angry. They're in despair. These are just all those negative emotions, what have you, right? Just, they're at a loss. They're heartbroken. They're grieving. So when they're looking at Putin, if they're looking at Ukraine, obviously they're grieving and they're heartbroken and they're in despair. When it comes to Putin and Russia, that's anger. It's vengeance. It is, harsh action here, harsh feelings. So they're kind of seeing Putin for who he is, that he's out to do damage, he's out to destroy. They hate him, they're angry at him, they want vengeance against him, they want to take him down. So, NATO, what's in their heart? King of Swords. King of Swords. So, this basically is telling us that, yeah, NATO wants to punish Russia, punish Putin, but they're going to do it by the book here, okay? So they're going to do it through laws, through consensus, through whether it's like the Brussels and the Hague, and with war crimes, through legal means, okay? Through legal means, they're going to exact their justice. So unlike Putin, they're not just going to go in and slaughter a bunch of Russians. Again, they're going to do it by the book, but it's going to be harsh, it's going to be methodical, it's going to be logical, and it's going to cut Russia down, 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 and they're going to do it legally. And the whole point is for truth and justice. Okay, so at least that's what's in their heart. to be doing. Interesting. So their actions, we get the Moon card. The Moon card. So, ooh, this tells me that a lot of the actions they're going to be taking are going to be invisible to the wider community. We're not going to be able to see everything that's going on there. There's a lot of things going on in the dark. So, you know, we know, for example, that, okay, there's sanctions. They're sanctioning Putin. They're going to sanction the oligarchs and they take them off of SWIFT and all these things. But a lot of that work is going to kind of we won't see it, right? We don't know which oligarchs or where their money is or how they're going to be, you know, getting access to certain things or even other things. There's other things they're going to be doing. So I definitely get the feeling, you know, it just said by the book, they want to take this guy down by the book, use the law, you know, to do that. But the actions here, there's something invisible that we're not seeing. So there might be some of this work being done behind the scenes, Yeah. I'm feeling like maybe when it comes to the the nuclear question, right? Russia's nuclear threats, they need to tread very carefully there. So I'm just getting a feeling here this could be related to how they want to sort of de-escalate that or remove some of that power, something like that. So spycraft, for sure. That could definitely be part of what's going on as far as the actions are going to be taken. Spycraft, plants, who was in secret positions, that kind of thing. So Putin, NATO, the card in the middle, summing up the relationship is the Tower. The Tower. So yeah, damage and destruction. The relationship between them is going to break. It's going to crack. It's going to, due to an attack, okay? Due to an attack, and it's going to crumble. And it's going to break down, fall down. And, you know, look at the top of that card. The king loses his crown. So, you know, I've personally been thinking I don't really see a way for, aside from retreat, I don't see a way that Putin can survive this. I mean, NATO's going to have to deal with him decisively. If he retreats, fine, okay? If he stays with, you know, the whole thing is he going to step a foot outside of Ukraine? That's the whole question, right? If he can stay within Ukraine's footprint, that really handcuffs NATO countries to engage him directly. But they're still doing the sanctions, right? They're still doing the money. So whatever happens between NATO and Putin, you know, it is this. It's just a breakdown in the establishment. Okay, so let me move on. I want to take a little bit closer look at this nuclear threat. Okay, so Putin is telling other nations, you know, if anybody steps across Ukrainian border to fight Russia, you know, we will respond like you've never seen before. If anybody attacks Russia directly, we will respond like you've never seen on the planet before. So, you know, everyone's interpreting that to mean nuclear weapons because, as we know, he's getting his nuclear system ratcheted up, right? Heightened alert. So, and everybody who knows Putin will say, yes, he will do it. He will do it. He will use those weapons if he feels pressure to. Yes, he will do it. So, will Putin... Okay, I can't even believe I'm asking this question. Will Putin launch a nuclear bomb? Will Putin, I don't even want to say attempt, okay? Because if he attempts it and they stop him, fabulous. But will he succeed? Will he be pushed to the point where he detonates a nuclear bomb? And, you know, let's be straight here. It's not like the old days of Hiroshima and Nagasaki where, you know, there's one kind of nuclear bomb and it'll take out a city. They've got all kinds of nuclear weapons now. They've got underground bunker busters. They've got things with a much smaller range. So there's a lot of technology in nuclear weapons that we didn't have back in the day. So when people think nuclear weapons, it's like, oh my God, you know, it should be, oh my God, of course, but oh my God, you know, one bomb and whoo, the whole thing's over. It's evolved, okay? Nuclear weapons have evolved beyond that. But it's still a very dangerous game. Very dangerous game. And yeah, so will Putin, so I'm just saying, I don't care what the size is. Big old bomb, little underground bunker buster. Whatever kind of weapon it is, if it's nuclear, I want to know, is he going to be detonating a nuclear weapon before this is said and done? Nuclear weapon, Spirit, let us know if we need to be expecting this or if Ukraine needs to be expecting this. Shows the truth. Nothing but the truth. Just do a little 3-card spread. Okay, well, I'm not seeing a yes. Well, okay. How do I want to interpret this? Okay, so the presenting card here, 9 of Cups. So happy retirement, okay? You're at the end of your life. You have everything you want around you. You're happy. You're satisfied and content. Great card. His challenge, action. Being able to implement his plan. So that's his challenge here. And the outcome is the King of Cups. This is very often my Biden card. So, oh, these cats. Ooh. So I'm going to say no here. Biden's stepping in. He's the outcome of the situation. He is going to be ratcheting that down. I don't see in this spread right at this time anything telling me, yes, the nuclear thing is happening. Okay. Okay, so, you know, I'm worried about Zelensky. He is a hero right now. He's coming out every day, letting everybody know he's still alive. He's still fighting for Ukraine. He hasn't seen his family in several days. He's looking tired. He's target number 1 and he knows it. He knows it. He is probably thinking, unless a miracle happens, he's a dead man walking, okay? And all he can do is rally his country and just be a hero. Oh, God, just a sec. Okay, anyways, so Zelensky, worried about him. Hoping he survives this. You know, the U.S. offered him, offered him a safe harbor out of the country. And I get it, you know, especially here in this country, we value that sort of continuity of leadership, right? If anything happens to Zelensky, that would really just decimate the morale of Ukraine and would be that much easier for Putin kind of to install that figurehead, right? To install a puppet. If Zelensky can manage to keep himself alive, then it's all that much harder to replace him. He's still going to be a hero to his people. He's going to keep that momentum and that energy up. So that is why it's so important for him to stay alive and why it's so important for Putin to take him out. So I really would like to know if Zelensky, you know, and I hate to get macabre with these readings, but this is warfare. I'd like to know if Zelensky makes it. like to know if Zelensky can survive this. You know, what is Zelensky's outcome going to be here? Will Zelensky survive this? Show me Zelensky's outcome. Let's do one more. All right. Okay, so he's presenting here as the Seven of Pentacles. So this is, you know, reviewing karma. You reap what you sow. So he's going about the business of reviewing his resources. You know, what does he have for money? What does he have for weapons? You know, where can he get more? You know, trade, reviewing your financial interests, reviewing. Okay, so, and we know that he's doing this. You know, he's begging for more weapons. He's I hate to say begging. He's asking for more weapons, asking for more resources. You know, working with Biden and working with NATO to go about, you know, getting in hardware, getting in ammunition, this kind of thing, right? So he's in this process now of just trying to shore up his resources, strengthen his situation. That's what he's doing. His challenge is a Page of Swords. So his challenge here is his self-defense. He has you know, with this page, he has a fairly weak self-defense here. So this is, as his weakness is telling us, you know, he's on the run. He's not fortified, you know, or being really well guarded. You know, he's moving. He's going from here to there, trying to stay safe as best he can. But his self-defensive abilities is what his challenge is here. He's kind of a sitting duck. He's running. He's hiding. He's, you know, dodging. But that is not the best kind of self-defense that you would want, right? So that's his challenge. Fortunately, his outcome is the Sun. So that's a wonderful outcome card for him. That gives him just the hope and the optimism and the promise of success. So at least at this time, these cards are saying that he's likely to survive this. He's likely to survive it, come out on top, and, you know, like the Sun, be the hero. Be the hero. And, you know, I'm going to take a quick look at Putin too, because like I said earlier in the reading, I don't see how, short of withdrawal, I don't see Putin surviving this. Because he won't move back into Russia without Ukraine. He will continue this fight, especially if he steps a toe out of Ukraine. Or I'm guessing if he starts dealing or using chemical or nuclear weapons, NATO might have to. They might have to do something about that, right? So it's hard. I don't see how he can come out of this unscathed or even alive. So I'm going to take the same look at Putin. Will Putin survive? Will Putin survive? When this war is said and done, will Putin be standing? When this war is said and done, will Putin be standing? Let's take a look. So he's presenting here as the Page of Pentacles, okay? So this would be a much diminished position. So this is not the king. This is not the emperor. This is a lesser position. So this would either tell me if he is going to be at least removed from the presidency. He will no longer be the person in power. He's just going to be a page. So he either is out or he's demoted or he has another role or something. But this is how he's presenting as a page, a much lower level than the emperor he is now. His challenge is the Ten of Wands. So he is burdened. He's carrying a heavy load, and it's really difficult to carry. He might drop some balls here. So this is his challenge, that he bit off more than he could chew. His outcome, though, is the World. So that's a huge ending and another beginning. So I think this is telling us, yes, maybe his presidency is ending here, but this isn't a death card. There's no destruction. In this reading right here, I don't see him dead, okay? But it does appear as if his reign is over. His reign will be, when all is said and done, his reign will be over here. His power much diminished, much diminished. And, you know, he's going to be maybe carrying something on his back in the gulag. You know, maybe he'll be at hard labor, you know, if he ends up in a labor camp or something like that. But I don't see the death card in any of its forms there for him. So I'm going to do one more question. You know, Ukraine is... The reason that NATO can't come to their defense, as we all know, is because they're not part of NATO. Ukraine is not part of NATO. But just the other day, he was on TV and he officially submitted his application to become a part of the European Union. So not NATO, says the European Union. You know, he's saying, we're Europeans. We want to be with you. We're not Russians. We don't want to be with them. We want to be with Europe. We want to be an equal partner in the European Union. He submitted his application. Now, normally this is a very lengthy process. I read the last country that got in was, I want to say, Romania. And it took like 10 years after they applied before they finally got admitted. And the reason is because if you're going to join the European Union, you need to sign on to their laws and sign on to their philosophies and sign on to their money, right? The euro, share the, oh, I can't think of the word for money, but have the same monetary system, right? Follow the same laws. You know, there's just a lot of things. You have to be able to defend yourself. You have to be able to have a, you know, I guess corruption. Just a lot of corruption in Ukraine was one of the big reasons that they weren't let in before. That might have been in NATO, though. It's hard to keep track. But anyways, he is like, you know, let me be a part of the European Union. And of course, that would totally piss Putin off because it's just one step closer to NATO. Okay, so what I want to know is, is the European Union going to bring Ukraine in during this conflict? Are they going to accept Ukraine during this conflict? Is the European Union going to accept Ukraine in during this conflict? Let's take a look. So, are they going to accept Ukraine in during this conflict? We're starting right off here with the Knight of Pentacles. So this is telling me that some sort of knight's going to try and come into action here. Some sort of knight's going to try and save the day. This is Pentacles, so it's the slowest moving knight. This might take longer than we'd like. It might take longer than Ukraine needs. It might be a slower, you know, that's the whole point. It's too slow. They need to get in like right now, right? But there is someone coming here to the rescue. And being Pentacles, it does have to do with money. You know, Ukraine will have to give up its currency. It will have to change its laws, blah, blah, blah. So that all takes time. They might expedite it, but even being expedited is still going to be a process. The challenge is 8 of Cups. So there's a lot of loss here. It's kind of leaving a lot behind you in order to move forward. You know, those things that were valuable to you, that you love, sometimes you got to let some stuff go to move forward. This is the challenge. So for Ukraine, there might be some things that they're not ready to let go of that might hamper them. Maybe they don't want to let go of their currency, or maybe there's some laws in place they don't want to change or something. For the United Nation, or I'm sorry, for the European Union, maybe they don't want to let go of their, approval process, or they don't want to let go of the sort of checking that they do on nations, the prerequisites for entry. Maybe they don't want to let go of that. There's going to have to be loss here. You're going to have to let go of some stuff in order to move forward into something new. So that's the challenge. I do like the End card, though. The result is the Magician. That's right, making some magic happen right here. All the tools are there. The skill and know-how is there. Someone just got to make some magic happen to get this reality in place. And this card is telling me that is what is the outcome for this situation. So I think that they might actually get this done. We just got to hope that it's done quick enough. But they're going to pull some strings, right? They're going to pull some strings. They're going to make some magic happen. And, hopefully rescue Ukraine, get them into the European Union. And I know I said that was going to be my last one, but let's ask the same question about NATO. Will they bring Ukraine into NATO kind of on this emergency basis so they can start defending them? Now, obviously, if they do that, Putin's going to go ballistic, because that's exactly what he's fighting against. All these former Soviet nations moving into NATO. That's what he's fighting against. If they take Ukraine into NATO, Putin is going to go ballistic. Oh my God. If that doesn't get him to lob a nuclear warhead, I don't know what would. So, it's a very dangerous game. Ukraine wants in so bad, it would allow us to defend them, but it would ratchet the whole situation up. Okay, so this is the last one. Will NATO accept Ukraine in during this conflict? Will NATO accept Ukraine during this conflict? Will NATO accept Ukraine in during this conflict? My first thing I'm hearing is no. Let's see what the cards have to say. Will NATO accept in Ukraine during this conflict? Okay. So we're starting off here with the Queen of Cups. So this decision, or thinking about this issue, right, accepting Ukraine into NATO, this is driven by emotions. It's driven by volatile emotions. This is an emergency crisis, right? This normally wouldn't be happening like this. It's those intense emotions, the desperation, the fear, that is driving this this desire for Ukraine to join NATO right now, right? We can't wait. Putin's knocking on our door here. You need to let us in. You need to defend us. I mean, just volatile emotions are at play. The challenge with accepting Ukraine into NATO is that they are in the middle of a battle here. They're kind of kneecapped. They're being attacked. It would, he's sort of in a weakened position. It would just be very difficult for NATO to do this at this time, given the fact that Ukraine is at war with Russia. It would be extremely volatile. Just like I explained, it would just blow the whole thing apart. If they were to do something like that, they feel kind of kneecapped here. They're feeling kind of kneecapped, and that's a challenge. The outcome card, though, is the Lovers. The Lovers. So this obviously is an important partnership. This Queen does, I talked about the emotional volatility here, but this Queen always holds this cup, and this is an offering. It's a gift. And we do have the Lovers card. So this, again, is partnership. So I do see an offering of friendship. I see an offering of partnership here. I would definitely say there's an off, and the cards are like this because you know how YouTube reverses things. There's an offering of a relationship here. So even though, you know, I'm thinking no, I'm going to say these cards are kind of saying yeah. Now, is this a NATO-Ukraine partnership, or is it another kind of partnership, you know? I'm just pulling a clarifier. We have the Strength card here. Being included in NATO would really strengthen Ukraine. So I think I'm going out on a limb saying that NATO's going to take Ukraine in during this conflict as a member country, because Putin would friggin' go nuts. But maybe it'll happen after Putin already crosses some kind of threshold. Maybe it'll happen after the use of chemical weapons, or after the use of a low-grade nuclear bomb, or after, you know, he does something crazy. But yes, some sort of offer of friendship, and here's this partnership. I gotta say, yeah. And followed by the Strength card. These cards today are telling me it's a really strong possibility. So, you know, I feel a little nervous saying that because it's unlikely. It would be, you know, very unlikely. But anything's possible. And, you know, that might be all that they can do to really go in there and save Ukraine from Russia. Okay, I really want to thank you guys for staying with me. You know, normally I've been trying to keep my videos shorter. I'm almost an hour here, but I really wanted to get into some of these questions because it's just what's going on right now. It's super serious. And yeah, so we'll hit it again, I'm sure, as this process and the situation unfolds. Peace be with all of you out there. My support and love goes out to the Ukrainian people. And, you know, may we all at some point be able to live in peace. So until we meet again, take care of yourselves out there, everybody. Bye.